Hi, welcome to the Friday powwow on all things nutrition and health. My name is Shannon Gilmore, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about artificial sweeteners or low calorie sweeteners, which are super popular today and ingrained in a lot of people's daily habits. So I wanted to touch on this a little bit. Obviously, everyone knows that probably a high intake of sugar is probably not the best for your body, but there are quite a few alternatives out there, and to some extent, they all have varying degrees of impact, and there's a lot of choices. So what I've done actually is I've created sort of a master sheet for you, or like a cheat sheet, that I'm actually going to post at the bottom of the screen. So when you're done watching this, you can click on that and it'll link you to this form that I've created to kind of help you navigate this a little bit better. Because there are definitely some better choices than others. But the thing about these is that these are not innocuous inert molecules, okay? And there's three different types that we want to talk about. There's the artificial sweetener, there's the sugar alcohols, so that's anything ending in like an OL, so that would be sorbitol, erythritol, maltitol, mannitol. These are all your sugar alcohols. And then the third is sort of the natural sweeteners, which is like stevia and monk fruit and things like that. And like I said, they do have lower calories and have they're good options for people from the standpoint of diabetes and people trying to lose weight. But these are not sort of inert sort of molecules. They definitely have a metabolic and hormonal impact on your body, and you should be aware of this because they don't just kind of float in and float out, basically. So I did actually create a newsletter this month that I'm going to be sending out that actually details some of these metabolic changes. I'm only going to go through one today for you because there's actually quite a bit. But I do just want to emphasize that if you're interested in learning more about this, you can sign up for a newsletter at thirdeyenutrition.com, which is going to detail this a lot more. Okay. Because the thing is this, is that you really can't fool your body with the idea of fake sugar or a calorie-free sugar. And the reason why is something called the cephalic response. And the cephalic response is sort of the sugar or actual sugar comes in, and that sends a signal to your brain that food is coming in. And that will send a signal, your brain sends a signal down to your pancreas to release insulin, okay? So whether it's sugar or fake sugar, that same process happens regardless, even with stevia. Maybe to a lesser extent than, let's say, an artificial sweetener, but it still happens. And so what happens is that then you've got all this insulin being pumped into your body, which is a hormone, but no one shows up to the party, okay? So there's no food coming down the pipe. And so now you've got insulin hanging around. The problem with this is that if you actually have a pretty high intake of these chemicals on a daily basis, the hormones, this release of the hormone, basically causes your body to pull the sugar out of the blood, which the job of the insulin is to store it, okay? So if you're trying to lose weight, but then you're constantly sending signals to your body to store fat, which is what happens to the sugar, then that's kind of a bit of contradiction of intention, okay? So if you're having a hard time losing weight, you might be taking a lot of these products and sending mixed signals to your body, okay? So that's one of the big reasons why, you can't, maybe you're not moving the dial on your weight. Maybe not. But the reality is that we have about half the country right now that are pre-diabetic and diabetic. And if you're constantly sending this signal of insulin into your body over and over and over again, that means that over time, slowly, it could be contributing to an insulin resistance. And if you're already diabetic, that might be making your insulin resistance worse. Okay, so it's kind of something to think about in the big picture of, are we actually making things worse by consuming these artificial or fake sweeteners, okay, for this reason alone of just the insulin release, okay? The second problem with it is because it takes the blood sugar out, you now have no blood sugar in your, you have no sugar in your blood. And so there's a problem because now your body always has to maintain a certain level to feed your brain. And so now you're gonna get signals to your stomach to get hungry, Okay, so you might be experiencing an increase in hunger. You might be experiencing sugar cravings that are even stronger when you're drinking these or eating these products. And that might be a problem as well. And the research is actually showing this, that people that have the highest amount of intake of these artificial sweeteners actually have weight problems. So it's a bit ironic and contradicting that you're seeing these associations. Okay, so if you're having a hard time losing weight, you may want to think twice about pumping your body full of some of these basically hormone altering and metabolically challenging chemicals. Okay, but take a look at that cheat sheet, because that might help you a little bit, because there are ones that have less of reaction than others, and that might help you a little bit navigate this a little better, so you can maybe choose a different product, so that maybe it doesn't elicit such a strong reaction. Okay, so hopefully that is helpful in terms of that, but there's a lot more to talk about around this subject. And so I encourage you to get that newsletter to kind of give yourself, or just do your own research. But to answer one question that has come up about Truvia and how my feelings are about Truvia. Truvia is a sugar alcohol predominantly, even though it's marketed as stevia. It actually only has like 1 or 2% of stevia. So it's really just erythritol, which is a sugar alcohol. And the problem with most sugar alcohols is that they are coming from a genetically modified food or organism. Okay, and anytime you get involved with genetically modified foods, it's going to likely be sprayed with some pretty toxic herbicides. So not only are you having the Bt toxin in there, then you're also having glyphosate that's being put into your body. Okay, and that can have a whole host of problems with your GI. It can cause leaky gut. It can, and I'm going to talk quite a bit about this later, but it's going to wreak a little bit of havoc on your stomach. So again, the idea of all this is maybe change, in that case, I would say don't do Truvia, maybe change the product altogether, or get a non-GMO organic type origins, so that you're not having to worry about that aspect of the sugar alcohol. But the idea with all this is that you really maybe just want to decrease slowly over time your relationship with these sugars in general, because as you can see, just this one aspect of many that we have to talk about, they're really not the best thing to put in your body, particularly if you've got weight issues, particularly if you've got gut dysbiosis, if you've got any kind of weird headaches or sleep issues. You'd be surprised how extensive some of these chemicals can impact on your body. So come visit me at thirdeyenutrition.com and find out. Hopefully it's piqued your curiosity a little bit. So that's all I've got for this week, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we will see each other next week. Ciao.